Hey guys, so this is my review video on the live action Lion King. Um, so the first thing I'd like to point out is that I find there was a lot of the scenes were cut. A lot of the original scenes were cut short in the live action film. And this is actually very disappointing to me because I find that a lot of the characters weren't shown entirely because of this, and that disappointed me because a lot of their personalities didn't end up showing in the live action film. So the first character I'd actually like to take note of is Rafiki, the crazy baboon as we know him from the original films. He just didn't come off as crazy in the live action film, and that just was not the greatest thing they did, because Rafiki is a pretty iconic character in the film. Because I find he's a very iconic character in the films. And so that upset me. And another character I want to point out is, well, characters, I should say, are the hyenas. And they were always very comical in the original cartoon. And they just didn't show it. They showed it in bits and pieces in this film, and it just wasn't enough to me. And just the beginning was just a letdown entirely. So the next character I actually wanted to go over was Zazu, because he also had his little things that he did in the original films, and that was when he was singing his little song to Scar, or just being crazy Zazu and always so strict and going on about different things. And they showed it a little bit in this live action film, but not to the best extent, in my opinion. So I also wanted to point out that Scar was a great character. Like, I think there was a lot of great characters, actually. I did really like Zazu, and I liked Zazu and Rafiki. I find they were a good fit. Like I said, though, they just didn't get all the characters feel in this film. And so they actually cut one of my favorite lines in this film, which was when Simba says, "Hey, Uncle Scar, when I become king, what will that make you?" And then Scar's response was, "A monkey's uncle." And that was just one of my favorite lines in the film all the time. I just loved Scar's sarcasm in the film, and they didn't show that enough in the live action. And I also feel like the Be Prepared song wasn't shown in the greatest detail, and that was actually my favorite song in the original film, so that was pretty disappointing to me. I do feel like Shenzi, the hyena, though, I felt like she was not the best fit. I feel like they probably should have recasted Whoopi Goldberg, because I just didn't get the same vibes from this Shenzi in the live action film. I just started to really have my doubts about the film in the first half, because they also didn't quite get the death of Mufasa properly, because I just feel like it wasn't heartfelt and emotional enough, and that was a big thing for a lot of people, I find, because that is where everybody usually cries in the film, and it just needs to be more shown. But as I watched to when Simba had been passed out in the in the desert, and Timon and Pumbaa came in, that's when I find it saved the whole film. And they actually really seem to change and uplift the film a lot more. I found that Seth Rogen was actually a very good fit to play Pumbaa, because he got the voice right and just the humor was there. I wasn't too crazy about Timon's character, because I just found his voice wasn't quite there, but I found that his bond with Pumbaa was what made me okay with the character, and so it made the film a lot better. And I also liked Nala and Simba's connection at the waterfall, because I felt it was like a really heartfelt scene, and that they got that pretty on point with the eye contact and like the deep longing of love. And so there was that, and I also wanted to point out the fact that instead of Timon singing his crazy song to distract the hyenas in so that Simba can go take his place as king, that song wasn't in the film where they were trying to get away. Instead, Timon sang "Be Our Guest," which made absolutely no sense to me, because they wouldn't have even know. I just didn't understand it. It didn't make sense whatsoever. And just, I think that was the only issue. Those were the issues that were in the film, and that's what I liked about the film. But yeah, the rest was pretty. I felt like they did pretty good with it. The fight at the end was good, and everything even the end, that was the big finale there, where Simba got to the top and they presented Kiara to everybody. And it made me wonder, will there be a live action Lion King 2? Because that is actually my favorite film, and not the first Lion King, for actually many reasons. But that could be for another time. If you want me to actually make another video about my thoughts on Lion King 2, then you can leave a comment down below if you want to see that video. But yeah, I also want to hear what your thoughts were on the live action film. And if you want them to shoot a live action sequel to Lion King. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. I just remembered, I didn't even talk about my favorite part of the film. So, my favorite part of the film was actually when they showed Simba's tuft of hair just going through to get to Rafiki, and that actually made a lot of sense to me, because it just made more sense than all the little like seeds and feathers or leaves or whatever that was in the original film. Because, well, it's actually a piece of Simba. So then Rafiki would then obviously recognize the scent of Simba and know that hair rather than just a bunch of random things that you find in the forest, which would have caught anything scent, but this tuft of fur would have still had his scent on it, just like any animal. So I just thought that was the best thing that they added into the film. And yeah, that's just what I needed to add. Thank you.